Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, all. Welcome to Soropati Learning Solutions. Now, in this particular video series, we will learn how to install and configure Linux Mint version 22. Now, we will practically execute following steps in this part 2 video. Now, in the part 1, we have covered some of the topics like what is Linux Mint OS distribution, what are its features. Then we have covered that how to install Linux Mint through Hyper-V. Then by the first boot time, how to configure your user accounts, how to add the user accounts, how to enable the default root account. And then finally we have assigned a static IP address to our Linux Mint system. Now in this particular part 2 video, we will cover following steps. So it is still continuation of the third module of administrating Linux Mint version 22. So in this particular part 2, we'll be updating Linux Mint with the latest updates. Next is Linux Mint keyboard shortcuts, how to configure your own customized keyboard shortcuts through Linux Mint. And the last one will be Windows Share access through Linux Mint, how to access a Windows Share and how to make it map automatically through Linux Mint. So let's start. So step 1 will be we need to shut down our Mint Linux VM. I'm going to my Linux Mint and simple shutdown option. Shut down. Why we want to shut it down? Because we want to add an external network adapter, and since this is a generation 1 VM through Hyper-V, we cannot add that particular network adapter while the virtual machine is running. In generation 2 we can do that, but in generation 1 we cannot do that, Hyper-V. So I've shut it down this Linux Mint. Then provide the internet access to your Mint Linux VM by adding the external network adapter through Hyper-V console. So as I told you earlier many times, I have created two network adapters over here. One is internal, one is external. So internal is for the internal LAN communication and external for internet connectivity. So you can see we have already added the internal one in the previous part. Now we need to add another one. We'll say network adapter, add, and here I need to select external. This will be our internet connectivity. So I'll say apply. Okay, right. And now of course we need to start the virtual machine. I'm starting it. I'm logging with the Linux Mint, Linux admin account. Let's move on to the next step by the time it is logging. Now next is we need to launch the update manager. So through Mint Linux desktop start menu also we can launch. So in the search box we need to type update and open the update manager menu. So here you can see the update manager by default is getting launched whenever there is any new update released. Now unlike the Windows operating systems where the updates are getting released only on patch Tuesday, in Linux they are getting released randomly. Whenever the particular update is available, update manager will automatically trigger. Okay, so you can see over here the update manager is already launched as a startup menu. But let's say if it is not there, So how can we launch it manually? So go to your start, in the search box just type update. So you can see over here the update manager is there. So I will click on it. Okay, so now this is the window where it is showing that when we are selecting the updates, it will apply the security updates, software updates, and then system snapshots. Okay, but as of now we will be doing only security and software updates. The system snapshot, this particular snapshot backup and restore, we will cover in the later part. So let's move on to our PPT for the next step. So on update manager menu, click OK. So since we have given the internet access, now it will start detecting your updates, but on the first time it just giving you a normal what do you say, false positive kind of a message that your system is up to date, but it is not up to date as of now. So what we need to do, we will go back to our PPT for the next step. So on update manager menu, click refresh. So I need to click on refresh over here so that it will scan for the latest updates. So you can see over here it is scanning and downloading the latest updates whatever are required. Let's go back to our PPT. So update manager will start downloading the latest Linux Mint packages that we have already done, right? Next is on update manager menu, make sure that all the updates and packages are selected automatically and click install updates. So we'll go back to our machine and you can see these many updates are applicable as of now for my Linux Mint 22. Since we have installed it freshly, so all those updates are required to be our OS as a latest updated one. Okay, so all the updates are automatically selected. So as of now I'm just saying install updates. If you are let's say Linux admin very much on an advanced level and you know what are all these updates, uh, you can deselect any one of them if you don't want it, but be absolutely sure that whatever you are deselecting is not required. But as of now I'm selecting all. Okay, so install updates. So these many updates will get apply. Now remember one thing, this is a general statement I am making, that whatever the videos or YouTube channel through my learning videos, I am providing this information as an education purpose. In a real production environment you should consult your team properly, what are the updates to apply, what are the steps which are required. Any step, I'm not talking about only updates, any step which I will be showing over here may be applicable for this lab setup but may not be applicable for your production uh, setup. So it's your decision to take any particular step as per your requirement. Okay, so I'm selecting the following packages will be installed, right? So it will show us the list of updates what it will actually install. Okay, so of course we are on this phase. Click OK to begin the updates installation. So now I will say OK. So it is asking us for the Linux admin password. So provide the Linux admin account password when prompted and click authenticate. And now you can see it is downloading the package files and it will start installation. So monitor the process as Linux Mint system will start downloading and installing the system updates. You have to excuse me for my voice, my throat is actually a bit sore. So it will take around 8 to 10 minutes, so I'm just pausing this video for the time being. Once this is completed, I will come back to you with the next step. So just to show you one thing, currently it is downloading the Linux firmware, which is of 498 MB of size. So it's a big firmware update for that one. Just wanted to show you. So the Linux Mint system just finished up downloading the updates. Now it is applying the updates. You can see over here it is applying, and it is showing the summary over here what all the packages it is applying. So it will take another 5 to 10 minutes. So we have just finished installing all the updates, and it is showing your system is up to date, but it is showing same time reboot is required. You have to install, you have installed the updates, so require reboot to take effect. Okay, so we will restart our machine. Let's go back to our PPT first. Yes, the restart Linux Mint OS once updates installation finishes. So I'm coming back to my machine, closing this window first of all, and let's restart this machine once. Logging with the Linux admin account. So this completes the first module, how to apply your updates. Let's move on to the next step. So through Mint Linux desktop, start menu, search box, type themes, and open the themes menu. Now this is like a very basic step. I want to change my mouse pointer theme, so let's see how to change it. Themes, opening the themes menu. From here you can change your color theme and all the things. Let's say okay, I'm selecting the red one, color theme. So through mouse pointer, change the system's mouse theme as per your choice. Go to advanced setting and mouse point. Let's say okay, I want a white one, so I will select this one. So now you can see my mouse is a white one. It's a simple step. Now the next module, what is the main topic? The keyboard shortcuts, right? So through Mint Linux desktop start menu, search box, type keyboard and open the keyboard menu. So I'll come back here. Sidebar. Now this is a very useful feature. Whatever you want to search, you can directly search on here. So you can see the keyboard, right? And here we will define our own custom keyboard shortcuts. So step 14. So through shortcuts system, change shutdown keyboard shortcut through keyboard bindings to Alt F4 key, right? So what I'm doing is go to first shortcuts and then go to system. So there are some predefined keyboard shortcuts: logout, shutdown, this thing. These are the functions, not the shortcuts, sorry. So these are the predefined functions. Now if I'm clicking shutdown, so as of now it is showing control alt end, but this is not what I want. So I will double click on it. So pick an accelerator. So I need to define it as alt F4. So what I will type over here, I am currently typing alt F4. So this key combination is currently used by another close window. If you want to continue, the combination will be reassigned to shutdown. So that's fine. So I have just pressed alt F4 on my keyboard, so it has automatically detected, and I will say yes. So now for the shutdown menu, the alt F4 has been assigned, right? But it was uh, saying that this alt F4 was already assigned for the close window. So close window, we will assign some other particular combination. So we have done this alt F4 keyboard combination. Let's move on to the next step. Similarly, you can add following keyboard shortcuts. So lock screen will be alt plus L, and close windows will be control plus F4. So lock screen, currently it is control alt L, so I need to assign it as a control, sorry, alt L, right? So I will double click on it and say alt L on keyboard. So it is giving us alt L combination for lock screen, right? And now the last one is close the windows. So let's see, in the general it is showing yes, in the windows it is showing close window. So currently no key combination has been assigned because we have removed that alt F4 for shutdown menu, right? So what I'm doing is I'm just assigning another key combination for closing windows, that is control F4. Okay, this is my choice, you can go for your combination. So control F4 I'm just pressing on my keyboard. So you can see it is automatically detected control F4, right? So this is how you can define other shortcuts also, right? Now how to test it? Now this particular window is already open, right? So we have given the control F4. So let me just press the control F4. This window should automatically close. Yes. Now this has automatically closed. One more testing we will do. We will now I'm pressing alt F4 on my keyboard. So you can see the shutdown menu appears. Alt F4. Now why Alt F4? Because I am on Windows guy, as I told you earlier. So Alt F4 combination is for Windows, that is inside my brain. So I have just given that combination. If you want another combination, you can give another combination also. Currently I am accepting this one. So this is how you can define your own customized keyboard shortcuts for your Linux Mint system. So let's move on to the next step. So next step is for the main module of this particular part is for accessing the Windows share through Linux system. Okay, so the first step is we need to get the information about our user ID and GUI ID. Why we require that, I will explain in a bit later step. So first of all, through Mint Linux CMD terminal window, type following commands one by one. Okay, so there will be two commands which we need to run. The first command will be id minus u space minus u. Okay, so I'm going to my Linux system and then opening the terminal, and here id space minus u. So this will give us a uid, user id, which will be 1000. Okay, so this is our user id. See, note down the uid of the current user, which is Linux admin, and the uid is 1000. And the next command is again id minus g. So this will give us GUID, which will be again 1000. So same thing. Okay, so note down the GUID for the current user, that is also 1000, right? So same, both the IDs will be used for our mapping Windows share. Okay, how we can use those IDs in a bit of command that I'm showing you now. So next step is through Mint Linux, open the file explorer and create a new folder as mount under the /home/linuxadmin directory. Okay, now why we need to create this folder? Unlike in Windows systems, there will be drives which will be mapped to your network share, but here in Linux there will be a mount point. Mount point means a folder on which your share will be getting mounted. So what I'm doing is I'm opening this particular file share, and through that I'm already in the home directory. I'm creating a new folder over here, and I'm just giving the name as mount. You can give any name, but I'm just giving the name as mount. So our Windows share or the contents of the share will get mapped, will get mounted on this particular folder. So this particular folder will be acting as a mount point in our Linux system. Okay, so this folder we have created. Let's move on to the next step. Now next step is a bit of long command which we need to run through terminal window, and this particular command I need to explain you in detail so that you can get a feel of it. Okay, so let me just run this command through ppt. So this looks like a very long command, but I will explain you. So sudo mount is the mount command through your super user do command, and so after sudo mount we need to add the CIFS utility parameter. CIFS utility is been used for accessing your Windows shares like Samba. Then you need to put your server or the client IP address on which your Windows share resides. So this is my client IP 10.1.1.2.23 on which I do have a downloads share over here. Okay, so this will be my Windows share. After that I need to define the mount point. So in my Linux system, so our mount point we have just created /home/linuxadmin/mount. After that -o will be operational command. After that you need to define the username for your Windows systems, that is username, and password for that particular user which is actually having rights for that particular share. Okay, then UID 1000 and GID 1000. This will be our Linux admins users ID and GUID. Now why do we require to define that? Because only Linux admin current user can access that particular share. Let's say on a same operating system Linux admin, another user is logged on, so he will not be able to access it because we have defined the UID and GID for the Linux admin. And then the directory mode 0777 means the folder access mode will be read write. There will be like read only, then execute only, or read and write means full writes. There are various sharing rights, right? As in Windows environment I'm talking about, but in Linux we need to define the mode. So 0777 will be your read write mode. Okay, and again file mode also read write. So this is the folder mode read write, file mode read write. Then no Unix, the version 2.1 is your latest Samba version. So the whole command you need to type as a single line. You need to make sure that wherever there is a space, there should be a space. Again, one more thing, if your folder's name starting with the M as in capital, then you need to define it as in capital only, because Linux is an case sensitive operating system, not like Windows. So you need to be very careful for entering this whole command as such, right? So what I'm doing is I'm just entering this command through my terminal, but I'm freezing this particular screen as of now, because for the security purpose I cannot show you my username and password. Once this particular command gets completed, I will come back to you with the result screen. Okay, so I'm just pausing this video as of now. Let's come back with the results. Okay, so I have just finished entering this particular command on my command prompt. This whole command I have typed in, and you can see over here that my mount point has been mounted, and if I'm double clicking on it, I can see my Windows share contains within it. Okay, sorry I cannot show you the live command because of the username and password. Now this is a big drawback. You can see I have rubbed it out over here. The username is visible, that is also fine, but the password is also visible while typing the command. It should be like star or asterisk thing, but nevertheless, so that's why I cannot show you that particular screen. But the whole command I'm again explaining you in detail, because this is a very important command. So once you enter this particular command, let's say on your command prompt, then it will ask for the Linux admin password, and then you need to enter the Linux admin password also. After that your share will get mounted. So now again I'm explaining the parameters. So replace the following parameters as per your environment. So this IP will be your Windows server or client IP address, and share name will be your share name of Windows share, right? Windows share name. And then username will be your Windows username, this one, and the password will be your Windows user password, this one. Okay, here you need to type it manually, but while typing the command it is showing you the complete password. That's why it is a bit of a security kind of an thing. Then mount path will be your current user's Linux home directory path. So mount path will be our this one /home/admin Linux admin /mount we have created in a previous step, right? And then mode 777 means read write execute mode. Then UID will be your user ID, GID will be your GUID of the current user, right? And version is equal to Samba file version, latest version is 2.1. Now this is how you can define these parameters. If you want, you can pause the video, reverse it with all the explanation whatever I have given you for each particular option, and make sure wherever there is a space, put the space. Wherever there is no space, like after these options, like the let's say username and then your actual username, there is no space, only comma and continue with the password, again password, comma, no space, continue this thing. So this command is a bit of confusing mode, but make sure that you are typing it correctly. And then after this command, hit enter, it will ask for the Linux admin password, and then give the password and it will map your share. Okay, so this is your one time mapping, means until you are logging off or restarting your machine, this share will be visible. Okay, so I'm going back to my Linux system and you can see this particular mount point has been defined for the Windows share. So this is my Windows share contents it is showing me, right? So let's move on to the next step. So at the end of the previous command, you should see the Windows share is mounted under the /home/linux-admin/mount folder. So this we have already verified. Okay. The next step is restart the Linux Mint system and you will notice that the intended share has been disappeared automatically. I want to show you this one because currently it is mapped as a one-time mounting point. Okay, if I'm restarting my machine, it will automatically disappear. So I just want to show you guys. So I'm just restarting this machine once. It will take another minute or so. And I'm using that keyboard shortcut Alt F4. So restarting it. Logging with the Linux admin account. Okay, and now you can see that particular mount point has been disappeared. Okay, there is no mount point mentioned over here in the desktop. And if I'm going manually to my home directory and mount, see no share is there. Okay, why it is showing on the desktop? Because in the option, if I'm going to the customize option, you can see over here in the desktop settings, it is saying mounted drives should be visible on my drive. That is enable. That's why once that drive is mounted, it will automatically come to my desktop, but currently it is disappeared because we have restarted our machine, right? So we don't want this. We want this particular share to be visible permanently. Even after the restart, it should be visible. Okay, so let's see what can be done. This maybe looks very easy but very tricky in Linux. So moving on to the next step. So this is a bit of a, as I said, a tricky procedure uh, to map your network share automatically. In Windows it's very easy. There is an option reconnect at the login, but in Linux, I think in Mint Linux at least there is no option, so we have to work around for the solution. Before going for the next step, I want to share some of the thoughts that I have searching for the documents for this kind of automatic network sharing. I came across the third party or the application utility called Gigelo, but somehow it was working for me for some time. For again it is not working. It is asking me for the password again and again, so I didn't find it that much useful. So I found another way. So let's see what could be the way to map our network share automatically. So the next step is open the text editor through your start menu search option. So I will go back to my Linux Mint system. As currently it is locked, I'm just logging with the Linux Mint user account. Okay, and now let me open the text editor. So this is a simple text editor, just like a notepad in Windows. And next step, once text editor opens with a blank file, type first line as, and this is a bit again a tricky, then hash and then explanatory mark /bin/bash. So we are actually setting up your command environment in Linux. The command environment or the batch file environment is called bash. So we are first of setting up this command environment so that we can use this particular file as a script. Okay, so this is a simple procedure for running a creating a script. In Windows it was much more easier, but in Linux it is a bit of tricky. So let's see, we will enter this command first in our batch file. Okay, so first hash, then explanatory mark, then /bin/ let's see, let me just see, bash, right? So this will be the first line for any script in Linux. Next we will see what to enter. So next is follow the first line with the command which we have specified in step number 20. Now if you remember, we let me go back over here. In the step 20, sorry, not this one, yeah, this one. In the step 20 we have specified the whole command for manually mapping our shell drive, right? This command, this whole command, right, from starting from here. So this whole command I need to type into that particular text editor over here, right? Now what I'm doing is I'm just going back to my PPT and I'm just copying this one so that I don't have to type, and then I will save it. And sorry again, I cannot show you the live typing because that is containing my username and password, but I'm just entering the same command whatever we have specified over here, same command with my username. Only thing I'm changing over here is the username will be my actual username and password will be my actual password. Rest of the command will be as it is, right? So I'm typing this command in my this particular file over here. Over here I'm typing the whole command and I'm saving it as an .sh extension. How to save that also I will show you, but let me type this command. Let me just pause this video for a minute. So I have just typed in the whole command as you can see over here. I just wanted to show you the command. Remember, I'm just changing these parameters, username and password. Before saving this file, I'm changing this particular these two parameters, right? But as of now I'm saying it in front of you with this particular command only, so that you will get a feel how to save it also, right? So afterwards I will change these two parameters. Okay, so this is the whole command, sudo mount, sorry, see there is a spelling mistake, so I think, yeah, sudo mount, then -t cifs, then your IP and share name, then the mount path over here, and then the operational command, and then the username, and then password, and UID, GID, mode 777. This particular whole command I have already explained you in the earlier step, right? The same command we have to type it over here, right? Now let's move on to the next step. So not this one, sorry, this one I was showing you. So we have completed up to this part, right? Yeah, so we have entered this particular command also specified in 20. Okay, now we need to save the file with .sh extension in home Linux admin documents folder. Now this folder or this path is my preference. You can choose to save wherever you want. I'm saving it in this particular documents folder, okay, with .sh extension. This is important because every script, like in Windows, there is an .bat or .exe, whatever executable file, but every script in Linux will be with .sh extension. So we need to save it as .sh extension. So what I will do is I will go back to my Linux admin. I will click on file, save as. Over here I will choose documents folder, and here the name is not below like Windows, it is upwards, and then I will just type the name as script.sh. okay, make sure to put it .sh as in right extension, okay, and I will just say save. So now this has been saved as script.sh. Let me just close it and let's see in the documents. Yes, this is the our script, right? Now we have saved it, okay. Now I'm just pausing video again for 1 minute so that I can change my username and password in this particular file, right? Just give me a sec. Okay, so I have saved this particular file again with my username and password, and now this file is ready. Okay, now let's move on to the next step. So save the file with the .sh extension in the home Linux admin documents folder. This we have already done, right? Script.sh. So this we have already done. Now next step is through terminal window, execute following command to make the above script file, that is script.sh, executable. Now this is one more command so that it will be converted as a batch file or a executable file. So which command we need to run? This is chmod plus x, then the path of that particular script file. Okay, so let me go back to my Linux machine, open the terminal, and now chmod plus x and then give the path. So it will be like home slash Linux admin slash document and then script, right? Script.sh. So this will be our command to make this particular file executable. Okay, so I'm just now hitting enter. Sorry, chmod. Okay, it should work now. So now this file is executable now, means it can run directly as an exe file in Windows environment type I am just giving. Sorry if I am giving the examples for Windows again and again, because as I said I am basically a Windows guy, but it will be more easier for you guys to understand what I am actually trying to say. So that's why I am just giving this example again and again. So this is the command through which our script is ready as an executable. Okay, so let's move on to the next step. Now next step is very important. We need to edit one system file. Before editing that system file, why do we require to edit that file? I will just explain you. This file is actually containing the password information or the authentication information. Every time when we are running any command, it is asking us for the sudo password, right? For Linux admin also, although it is an administrator, again and again it is asking for sudo password. We want to disable that functionality so that our network map drive also be getting mapped without the password, without the sudo password. Once we logged in through our GUI, through our normal password mode, then our network drive should be automatically getting mapped without asking password. Otherwise this particular procedure will not work. So what I'm doing is, there is a file called sudos in the etc folder. Okay, so first of all, before doing anything, I'm just making a backup of this particular file so that I can revert if anything goes wrong. Okay, so this command I need to run sudo cp/etc, then the sudos etc sudos dot backup. So I'm just making one more copy of this particular sudos file, and by the time when I'm hitting enter, it will ask me for the Linux admin password. Okay, this looks a bit confusing, but let's get it right. I'm just making a copy of this sudos file so that if anything goes wrong, I can revert back to the original one. Okay, so let me just enter this command. Sudo cp then space etc space sudos and space etc. Yes. Yes. Okay. I'm hitting enter now. It is asking me for the Linux admin password. Now we have made a copy of this original sudos file. So see over here, while taking a copy also, it is asking me for the password. For each and every command, it is asking me for the password. So I want to disable that functionality. So how to do that, we will see. Now next step is an optional one. I just want to show you the command to restore the sudos file. With the following command can be used. So this is the command sudo rm and -rfv etc sudos and sudo move etc sudos dot backup etc sudos. So it will again restore our original file sudos backup with the modified file. This is an optional one. We are not doing this command as of now. Okay, in case if you restore, I just wanted to show you this command. Okay, so let's move on to the next step. So next step is open this particular original sudos file using below command. Which command? Sudo vcdo. Okay. Yeah. Okay, I'm just entering the command now. Sudo and vcdo. Now you can see our sudos file is open as an .tmp because currently it is temporarily open, and there are various lines over here. So this particular file is ready to be modified. Okay, but be very careful when modifying any particular system file in Linux. That's why we have already taken a backup, right? So let's see what could be our next step. So next step is through GNU Nano Editor, scroll down through your sudo's file and append following line at the end. So we need to enter one new line at the end of our file. So what is that line? So that line is, I need to explain you this command. This is our current username. So Linux admin all means all commands. For all commands no password is required. All. So this whole command is like for no password prompt for Linux admin for running any commands. For Linux admin user only. Okay. So I'm entering this particular line at the end of our file. Let's go back here in our file editor, and I'm just scrolling down through my keyboard. This will be the last line. I'm putting one enter over here, and now I'm entering the new line, and make sure that you're entering it with the correct spelling and correct case also. Means if it is let's say if it is on a caps, make sure that you are entering it as in caps. Okay, so because as told you earlier, Linux admin is a case sensitive operating system. So Linux admin, then all, okay. So we have entered this particular command. Sorry. Okay, this is a colon, not equal to. So we have entered this particular command, and now next is we need to save this particular file. Okay, because we have made some changes to this one. So next step will be press Ctrl X to exit, and upon asking press Y and hit enter to save the sudo's file. So what I'm doing is over here I'm pressing Ctrl X. It is asking do you want to save the modified buffer. I will press capital Y from keyboard. File name to write whatever it is taking, let it take. I am just hitting enter. Okay, so this file has been saved. How to again verify whether our changes have been saved or not? Well, again type sudo vsudo, and again it will open in editor mode, and I'm going to the last line, and you can see the last line, this one we have added, right? And this is saved also, right? Now let's exit it. Now our file is also been saved, right? Next is, after this file has been saved, I just put a note that above modification in sudo's file will ensure that Linux admin user will not require to input sudo password again and again while running any command or script. So this is a one-liner explanation for all this file editing and all. Okay, so why do we require this? Because we require that our network drive should be automatically mapped. It should not ask us for the password also. How we are going to map that network drive automatically? It's in upcoming step. I will just explain you. Okay, so after this step, so through start menu, search, open the startup applications menu. Okay, so I will go back here. I will exit from the terminal now, and through start I will type startup. So there is an option called startup applications, right? Now this particular utility is like in Windows startup, whatever you are adding it over here, it will get executed at the time of your boot. It will be a startup program or startup application or startup command, anything you can add it over here, right? So let's see. Next is click on the plus sign and click on choose command. So I'm clicking on this plus sign. Sorry, it is not showing in the full screen. Let's see. Now it is showing, and I will choose this particular custom command, right? Custom command. Now next is provide an appropriate name to the program. So I'll just give a name. You can give any name for your choice. Next is click browse and select your script.bash file which we have created earlier, right? So I will click on browse. You go to the documents and this is our script.sh file which we need to select, right? In the comment also you can put an comment. It's optional, but I will share. I will just put it. You can put any command as Windows share automated mapping or anything. And then finally this comment we have already entered, and finally click on add. Okay, so this particular script, whatever we have created, we have added it in startup command, right? The next is make sure that the above application or whatever the script we have added is enabled in the startup program list. So this is important. This particular option should be enabled. If it is disabled, it will not run, right? So this is done. Okay, let's move on to the next step. Restart the Linux Mint OS once. So now we will check. I will close this. Now I'll close this also. Remember, before restarting, we have not mapped our mount point. You can see over here the mount point is empty. After restart, it should automatically come, and that too without asking any password. Okay, this is our goal. So let's see. I'm just restarting my machine, and let's keep our fingers crossed. Restart. And now I'm logging with the Linux admin password. So now you can see this mount point is automatically coming without any manual mapping. This is how it will work after each reboot, but for the Linux admin user only, right? Because we have map this particular share to Linux admin, and we have disabled that sudo password functionality for mapping the drive or for running any command for Linux admin user only. So this is how the mount point has been this thing. If I'm double clicking it, it is showing me my Windows share contents. Okay, so this is how, without Gigolo software, using a normal script functionality, you can mount your share drive automatically after each reboot session also. Okay, so log in with the Linux admin account that we have already done, and you should be able to see the Windows share, that is your mount point, appears at the desktop automatically, and you may open it and access your Windows share files. Okay, so this completes our part 2. Okay, now in the upcoming part 3 video of the same series, administrator, we will cover following topics. So what all topics we will be going to cover in part 3? Virtualization setup through Linux Mint 22. What do you mean by virtualization setup? Means enabling virtualization capabilities in Linux Mint 22. We will be using this system as our virtual server. How we will be doing that? By installing Oracle VirtualBox application in Linux Mint OS. Okay, so we will be installing our Oracle VirtualBox, and once we are installing VirtualBox, through that VirtualBox we will be installing our Windows 10 or Windows 11 OS through that VirtualBox. So this will be our virtualization setup for Linux Mint. And the second point we will be covering, backing up and restoring Linux Mint with snapshot provision. Okay, how to take the snapshot, how to recover it, in case if you want to schedule those snapshots by, let's say, end of each day or every week or whatever, every month, whatever your preferable schedule, that all options we will see in that particular chapter. Okay, so thanks all for watching this particular video. This is your host from Swaroop IT Solutions. If you like this particular video, please share and do subscribe to this particular channel. Thanks all again for your time. Have a good day.